there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Chucklesluts, episode 11. The one place on the internet where you come for the sluts and stay for the chuckles. My name is Samuel Locke.
I'm Shannon Bernetti.
I'm Zach Clapperich.
And if you guys were wondering what I was doing there just now, I'm trying to do the DBZ thing, fusion.
I would fusion dance with you anytime. I'm down.
Honestly, I think if we were to fuse all three of us together, it would look like some Cronenberg shit.
It wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good at all. Without a doubt. Or we just do like a bataras. We each take one, and Shannon takes like a nasal batara, and we get it for an hour, man. It's a way stronger fusion. The batara rings are better.
Yeah, but our power levels are still absolute fucking garbage. We don't like we'll fuse, but because we don't train or do anything, our power level goes up by like 1/2.
Listen, I'm at least 4 Krillin strong.
4 Krillin.
Suck it.
But remember, hey, as much as we could shit on Krillin all day, he'll still beat Hercule.
Yeah, I mean, he's the strongest. Like the second strongest human. Turned out Master Roshi was a thug in the last.
I mean, he trained like
arc.
everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, he went
Bulma.
like. well, Bulma is like the smartest creature in the entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
There's like a weird fan theory that Bulma is actually like a time traveler that has like initiated all of these events happening, which is pretty cool. It's pretty rad.
You know, I've never
she started Capsule Corp and can travel through time. She's kind of a big deal.
They never really got into the idea of like, oh, by the way, there's also dinosaurs on this planet. They do exist, and it's never talked about in all like 500 some odd episodes.
I mean, there's a lot weirder stuff. Like if you're worried about dinosaurs, and
I'm worried about dinosaurs because they just exist, but they're just there, and no one explains why.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is like if that's what you're worried about in that universe, not like the magical beans you can eat that can recharge your whole life, or the fact that there's like weird just androids that run on infinite energy for no reason that were built by a homeless guy in a mountain. I'm
trying to ask the hard-hitting questions here, Zach, and people want to know about the dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. I get it.
Anyway, side note aside, we're going to start off with the first thing. Actually, we didn't even start off with the first thing, but the second thing I guess we're going to start with tonight is the World Doe. And I'm gonna start this one off tonight, and because of holidays, I uniquely despise the holidays. I am the Grinch as far as anyone. I mean, I like Thanksgiving. Let me rephrase. I like Thanksgiving. Fucking Christmas can go eat a dick, die in a fire. I don't know. But this is for people like me. This is about a company who is essentially hiring people or finding someone, one lucky person, to watch 25 holiday films in 25 days, and they're offering $2,500 to do it.
Sign me up.
That's so easy. What do you?
Do
you know how lazy some of my roommates are? Like, okay, oh my god, that's
so.
They're it's a pre-selected holiday classics. Includes Elf, It's a Wonderful Life, The Polar Express, Home Alone, and a couple other ones. Mm-hmm. Now here's the thing. It's not that I despise Christmas movies. There's a few I like Jingle All the Way is great. Home for the Holidays with Jonathan Taylor Thomas, which no one watches. No one knows that's a thing. It's great. But 9 times out of 10, if there's like a Christmas Story, I want to shoot my eye out. I want to shoot my eye out watching the Christmas Story. I don't know, like at some point in time, someone said, let's do this for 24 hours a day on Christmas. It was great for like maybe a year or two, but then it's like, bruh, I almost know all the words and I shouldn't,
I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through. I think that movie is just always on. Like collectively, I've probably watched like 30 hours of A Christmas Story throughout my life, but I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through, and I don't care. I also like just that whole time period of movies. Like I'm not a big fan of. I also don't care about like the vacation movies. I think I'm kind of a curmudgeon about like
boomer humor.
Yeah, honestly, like I can just fucking care less. I respect Chevy Chase, but like I just don't think he's funny. Is he funny in movies?
Okay. So Chevy Chase's boomer humor. That's how I see it. Like, I mean, I still watch Christmas Vacation. I think it is brilliant. I think it's the best one out of all the vacations, so to say. and I will watch it and enjoy it because it is on my Christmas list. So okay, my question to you is like, everyone has like different Christmas visual movie traditions. Like, what's a movie that is clearly, obviously not a Christmas movie, but you're still gonna watch it as a Christmas movie?
Die Hard.
Don't.
It doesn't count. That's already been done.
That's everybody's answer. But I don't know. I think last year me and my sister watched like Hostel. We're not very.
Oh, The Thing.
We don't celebrate normally.
The Thing is a Christmas movie.
The Thing is a Christmas movie. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's what the USA like Antarctic outpost watches every year on Christmas. So it's a Christmas movie.
That's fair. I don't really like. I don't have a lot of Christmas traditions. I've lived my life as a vagabond like forever. So like I don't have a lot of traditions set in stone with the family or whatnot. And I'm always traveling to a million different places and doing different things. So like I don't really have one, to be honest. Christmas to me is just like all exhaustion, like self-loathing, dealing with issues. Like there's a lot of crying from all of my family. My grandmother once told me that I needed a rhinoplasty and should leave. And that was like her closing argument to a debate that I was not involved in.
Is it Jewish side of the family thing? Or?
No, we're not a Jewish family. She's just being mean. She drank a lot of that happy cider, and she just out of nowhere, like she was arguing with my uncle, and then she looked at me and she's like, "Zach, I think you should get rhinoplasty." And I was like, "Hey, grandmother, you're being a bitch." And she's like, "Well, you can get the fuck out of my house." And that's when I left that year.
For me, Jumanji, actually. Jumanji, I think, is a great Christmas
I
film.
like that. That's really cute. I love watching Jumanji. It's a good one.
I haven't done it in a while, but Jumanji used to be one of my favorites. And Hook, actually. Hook is a great fucking Christmas film. Oh my, I tell you what, at some point in time,
it's definitely my favorite Peter Pan version, yeah.
It is. It's the
Rufio.
Like, I think there's a better Peter Pan book that I like that's written by Brom. That's like a weird horror version of it. But like, as far as movies go, Hook was definitely the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. I used to watch it as a kid. I didn't even realize it was a Christmas movie for me. And I watched it my first time as an adult about a month ago. And holy shit. Like,
does it hold up?
Not only does it hold up, but as a person who like works in the movie industry, there is so much like artistic attention to detail in this movie that I didn't even catch as a kid. And I'm like, they put so much money into this bitch.
Was it like a Disney movie?
Was it?
Like, who put it out? I don't know. I don't know anything about the production of that movie.
I think it was.
Was it Lucasfilm?
It might have.
I'm gonna fucking look
Yeah,
it
we
up.
get a lot of Google answers in here.
My top three is probably like, it's either DreamWorks, it's either Lucasfilm, or it's Disney. It's one of the three.
Well, we can just look it up. We don't need to gamble.
You're looking it up.
Here,
It was a Spielberg.
It is
Steven Spielberg directed it.
Yeah, that's why. And
then it was probably a Lucasfilm movie.
It was Amblin. It was an Amblin Entertainment.
Which
in TriStar.
But they merged with Lucasfilm, didn't
So
they?
was Sony, Columbia's TriStar Sony? Or did Columbia TriStar split? Who owns TriStar?
No, TriStar's not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
like, what did they get absorbed by? Is what I'm saying.
Disney, it owns everything.
I don't know. I always wonder what happened to Touchstone Pictures. I always thought they had great.
That was Disney, I thought. I thought Touchstone was Disney.
I have no idea.
No, I don't think so. But anyway, back to Hook. I just like the costumes, and dude, there is so much mind fucking in that movie that I didn't even realize. Like, Hook is literally like this like a predator just hanging out with Hook's kid, just like, your dad's a piece of shit. Basically, like that's what it is the entire time. Your dad's a piece of shit. He hates you. Like for 2 hours straight, and I'm just like, wow, this is so fucked.
The little girl's like, my dad would never. That's my purse. I don't know you. Like,
yeah, no, and that's exactly it. Like the daughter's like, fuck you. But like he's just digging into his son, and I'm like, wow. And it's just like, and the worst part is he's talking to him in the way you would talk to a kid if you're trying to get a kid against like somebody. And I'm like, wow, like Dustin Hoffman, dude, like. If anyone ever asks me, like, what's Dustin Hoffman's best role? It's Hook every single fucking time, without a fucking doubt. and it's got the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit in it as Smee, and I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because you can.
I mean, it was a loaded movie. It had tons of people in it for sure.
And what's really
it makes sense that it was like a Spielberg movie because like he was able to pull in a lot of big names.
Yeah, and it's really actually kind of awesome because like you can actually hear John Hopkins like Who Framed Roger Rabbit voice every so often, and like if they were in the same universe, I could totally see that. Like disgraced detective on the run finds his way into Neverland through Toontown. Like it could be a thing.
I mean,
if I had made it, part 2.
That's a weird mix of characters to throw in together. And I feel like he'd probably honestly get murdered by the fucking the boys. What are the kids called?
Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys. Yeah. Because, like, I mean, it's like hard-boiled, weird, goofy detective shows up, and they just be like, "Nah, get out of our place." And
you're an adult. Time to kill him.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because it's got a weird, like, there's a murderous kind of intent there with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And here's the thing I appreciated about Hook as an adult actually is that there's more allegory attached to the movie because it's not like the story of Peter Pan. It's what happened after the fact, and there's just so much like allegory about being an adult and time's wasting and like you grow up there's just more of it as an adult. As I'm watching this, I'm like, fuck, I need to go fly a kite or something. I don't know.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's
way to ruin Hook with your negativity.
No, it's great. I'm saying go fucking see it. It's so much more amazing as an adult than as it is a child.
And it's great as a Christmas movie because of the family content and everything.
It is great for the whole family, and it also snows. So
it's like my favorite Christmas movie, Schindler's List. Like I love depressing.
Of course. Anyway, that's my World Doe.
Shannon, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Mine's more sciencey based. So they found another ctenophore, aka coom jelly. They discovered a new species in the Caribbean of these.
What's a coom jelly?
A coom jelly or whatever.
What is this?
I don't know how to fucking pronounce that shit. It's a ctenophore. The technical name for it's a ctenophore.
That doesn't help. What is this thing?
It's like a weird little. So they're often mistaken for tiny jellyfish, and so they're like weird little jelly creatures. Jelly.
Okay,
yeah,
that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's like a jelly creature.
Sounds like a beauty product.
Yeah,
get yourself some coom jelly. Like, get that bob like, right.
So it looks like a little. The recent one they discovered looks like a little pizza pocket with like little sticks off the ends of the pizza pocket. It looks literally like a pizza roll that you stick in the fridge. But they're actually really good carnivores for like if you like to have tiny little larvae in the sea. So if you're a larva, you're gonna get fucked. Because they're really good hunters. But they're known for being called like kind of like weather balloon shapes, and they kind of look like disco balls of the sea is another thing that they're called, like the ctenophores. But
where was this?
Off the coast, I think of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. I swear I'm sober, guys. Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, they found another brand new species. Like we're discovering things about the ocean every single day. And there's 100 known species, and this is the 100th one that they found. There was 99 before, now there's 100. And they're actually really, really cute. But it's like, like Dory, like, may squishy, but if you touch it's like, ow, bad squishy. Like, don't touch it,
There's so many times I'm gonna be like, bad squishy in my life, and I'm gonna think of you every time.
Yeah, ow, bad squishy. But it's also, it's great because we're still discovering things about our planet. We should keep it clean. Yep. And also those jerks at NASA are trying to leave the planet instead of facing the deep, man. There's so much stuff. We have not discovered anywhere close in the ocean. What the fuck's down there?
The super deep is terrifying.
Cthulhu.
So much
They're scared of Cthulhu. We should just embrace our Lord Cthulhu, and it'll be fine.
No, he's waiting for us at the bottom. The old one is waiting to drill us into
I've been playing Arkham Horror, the board game. It is a beast of a game.
It looks like a beast of a game. That picture it's terrifying.
Yeah, no, like it's taken us 3 days just to understand the instructions.
Well, all I know now is if I go to Puerto Rico, I should never go swimming or snorkeling while like tripping any kind of hallucinogens because I'll just think there's giant hot pockets.
4,000 meters down, so like
they're
you'll have to
4,000 meters
down.
Is that
You're
12,000 feet?
I might be that kind of fucked up. You don't know what kind of
You
things
just
I
gotta
do.
like get in a submarine and go all the way down there. You just get really fucked up, tripping acid in a sub.
The bad squish because they're
Don't
not
eat the
hot
bad
pockets.
squish. When Cthulhu invites you down into his oceanic lair and it's like, don't touch the squishy, and you're like, bad squishy. You'll just think of me, bad squishy.
Dude, I think about that a lot. There was like 95% of the sea just hasn't even been touched.
We've barely mapped the ocean floor, and there's so many secrets down there.
And the thing is, when people do ask, oftentimes like, would you rather explore the deeps or would you rather explore space? And I tell them every time, space. I love space, but more importantly, I know that there's nothing around me in space. Mm-hmm. Like there's some shit down there that will straight up murder my face. Like,
well, I mean, it's kind of a false equivocation though, because you can't saying like, do you want to explore space or do you want to explore the ocean? It'd be more like you said, do you want to explore Mars or the ocean? Because space is such an expansive thing. That's like, hey man, do you want to come check out my house? Or hey man, do you want to go check out Sweden? Like they're two very different things.
But here's the thing: they're not. And the reason why is that the common interest there is just exploring the unknown. And the thing is, when it comes to space,
but it's not like it's a false equivocation. Like you're not. They're both unknown, but that does not make them similar in any way.
And like the
besides
ocean's
the fact that we don't
so close with all of its mysteries and shit. Like one time I was really fucked up in the middle of the night on Venice Beach. And I walked out to the water and I just stared out in the dark and I was like, I wonder how far I could go. And it was like the sea was calling me. And then I'm like I get like waist deep in water and I'm like, it like sobering because it was cold. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
You heard the literal sirens call. There were mermaids out there.
Literally. They're just like, come get dead, Shannon. Come get dead.
This is the episode where we stare into the dark depths of our souls.
Just wait, man.
Like the thing is, when it comes, like one of my like just completely unfounded irrational fears is just like to be in a submarine, have like a giant squid just crush the inside and just like, I know, right? Just all that pressure just seeping. Like, I know I'll be dead before I even realize what happens, but just knowing that I'm there, just.
What's funny is I don't even mind that as much as I mind like I would be less scared in a sub with like seeing a squid wrapped around me because at least like I know what's happening than just like when I'm floating in the ocean. Like, have you ever gone deep sea fishing and just like jumped in the ocean and you look beneath you and you're like, there's like 100 miles under my feet.
That's exactly why I don't do that.
It's so scary. There's so much mystery under you.
Yes, directly under. That's the problem.
In 6th grade, we had a field trip to this place called Sea Lab, and we went out past the bay in San Diego, and we were gonna like grab some crabs and shit. I got pinched by a crab, little fucking asshole. Anyway, that's why I eat them now. That's why I eat them, little jerks.
Damn crab people.
Crab people.
They're the perfect creatures. Don't make fun.
I looked over and realized that land's over here. What's under here? Oh no.
That realization, isn't it nuts? Like when you just realize like how much is beneath you and like the mass of it. Because like at least again when I'm under, and if like were I in a sub, at least I have some like I can see outside. It's a squid. Like I know what's gonna kill me. But the unknowing, the Cthulhu-esque fear of the unknown is much more scary to me than the actual monsters. The little monsters get me, you're gonna fucking die.
The mystery I don't know what's scarier than the reality.
Yeah, exactly.
10, I did junior lifeguards and I swam out to the buoy and then passed there to the drop off, like where you can't see the sand anymore and we're just like that's the ocean a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back now. Like, no, swim back as fast as I could. I'm like, yeah, because the ocean was like, hey, bitch, and I'm like.
See, I'm actually an absolute shit swimmer. I cannot I can doggy paddle. That's the extent of my swimming. If I couldn't even do like a 16th of a mile, let alone like a mile out or back like some people do.
It's hard. When I was in college, I was dating a girl and she was a swimmer. There was this old quarry in a UT. It's a huge quarry. It's actually where they got all the pink marble for the Lincoln Memorial, right? Or the Washington Monument. Sorry, that's why part of it's pink, then the rest of it isn't. Is because they ran out of the quarry. But anyway, I was swimming in there, and it's about 3/4 mile across. And my girlfriend that I was dating at the time was like, "Come on, Zach, it'll be fun. Swim over to the other side with me." I almost fucking died. Like. I thought I would be a big badass, and I was like, "Yeah, babe, go ahead, do your thing." And she killed it. And like 10 minutes later, she's on the other side, and I'm just like,
it's so
like
hard.
One-handed
it's so
paddling.
hard.
It was the worst. I didn't know how hard it is, and it's the quarry there it's like 400 feet deep, and so like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna die. I died in a quarry.
Yeah,
no fucking fun. That sucks. I was so mad.
Gotta tread water, gotta float on your back, take some breaks. Sip a beer.
we're gonna push on from this. Zach, what do you got for us in the world?
Yeah, I'll be a little quicker. I read an article today. A lot of my favorite mysteries are going away, and I'm really sad. They're solving a lot of ancient mysteries here lately. Like, if you don't know, the Roanoke colony famously disappeared. They figured it out.
Really?
It wasn't aliens, and it wasn't a murderous tribe. It wasn't anything. It was actually such a sweet thing. Eventually, like the people just kind of got together and they started blended in with the indigenous peoples, and they've done through like a long-winded like DNA processing and figuring out like what the actual like word that was carved into the tree meant. It was just the people saying like, "Fuck the pilgrims! Like we're gonna go be indigenous people because these people got it right," and they just merged with the people. And then they just figured out that Stonehenge, it's not that they figured out everything about it. They still don't really know how they did that protean Herculean task of getting all these rocks to Stonehenge. But there was a big mystery as to where all these rocks came from. And as of this summer, they concluded that they were actually from, there's about a quarry-esque site like 50 miles away where you can find these giant like limestone rocks that they carved out there. And they found like pieces of rocks that have been carved in the area and pulled off. So it's just kind of depressing for Tinfoil Boy here because I was really banking on aliens.
Well, I mean, 50 miles is still 50 fucking miles. Like,
yeah,
you gotta explain that part next.
It's incredible what they did, but it just kind of shows that like they figured it out. Because one of the biggest problems is they didn't know where they got those fucking rocks. And so they were like, did they bring these up from like South America? Like, how did they get them here? Well, who helicoptered them in like in 2500 BC?
Sure.
And it turns out they just figured out some kind of crafty system of carrying and dragging, probably using like wet logs and roll-in pulley systems, but whatever. All my mysteries are getting solved. I'm going to have to start going into the deeps of the ocean to find new mysteries.
Yeah. Oh, hell Cthulhu.
And Amelia Earhart, they just fucking figured out what happened to her. That makes me so mad. I figured there was some big...
What happened to her?
Well, so there's 2 islands that are like close to where they thought she landed. Mm-hmm. And they found like wreckage on one island, but they never found her body or anything there. And so what they found is there's an area very close to it. There's another island. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but they found like a freckle cream thing that she was very famous for having, and like parts of clothing that she had, and a bunch of desiccated remains on this island that like nobody goes to. It's actually really haunting and goes back to fucking crabs. But they think they found a bunch of bones that had been just absolutely destroyed on this island. And about 80 years ago, they said, no, these definitely aren't her bones. And then about 40 years ago, a scientist with real science looked at it and was like, no, these are definitely her bones. And it turns out that she had swam herself up to an island that was like infested with these giant, like 2-foot big rock crabs. Oh, and she's probably eaten alive by crabs.
Rock crabs are scary. Oh,
they're like 2 feet long. They're giant monsters. So they found broken bones and the rest of her stuff there.
Let me see if I can find a picture of a rock crab, because these are not.
They are terrifying. They're not giant monsters.
They're not very cash money. Hold on.
But so that's like 3 mysteries, like all this year. They just figured out.
Amelia Earhart. Death by crab does not
Especially
sound
she like
good.
crashed her plane, survived, swam to an island, and is like, yeah, nailed it. And then you get eaten by crabs.
And then wait, are you saying crabs are carnivorous? I mean, I don't know what they eat, so I don't know.
They eat little
crabs
fishes.
Are 100% carnivorous.
Oh yeah.
They're scavengers. They eat dead animals. That's all they eat. And if they're hungry enough, they'll eat whatever they fucking want.
Well, I can't find a really good, gross, like super gross long one, so I'm gonna move on from that. But
yeah, we've gone on for this for a while.
Yeah, no, this has been a longer than usual World Doe, just because it's so interesting what we've found today. So we're gonna move this on. We're gonna do a game we haven't done in a very long time. In fact, I don't think we've done this since like episode 2. And that would be a nice rousing game of Shit Happens.
Oh boy. And
because I don't think anyone
question who I am.
I think there's like 2 people who've watched since episode 2. The rest of you guys, Shit Happens is a card game, and you can buy this probably anywhere. Amazon, I don't give a shit where you get it. But basically, we're gonna rank. These guys are gonna rank what they think these really bad things are gonna rank from a score of 0 to 100, based on how miserable the event actually is, and whoever's closest to the actual number wins the card and the round.
Who's closest to a train right now? Because it is. That train is kicking. Is that me?
We're gonna, I would say 3 rounds. Let's do 3 rounds. This one's great. Great one to start off with.
Oh man.
You wake up hungover with a tattoo of Whoopi Goldberg on your ass. How miserable are you?
0. I'm fine with that.
That's a victory, man.
It's Whoopi. I don't care.
we got a 0.
I'll go like a 20% just for the hangover is rough, and I hate not knowing. Like blacking out is always really annoying.
I'll go with a 1. So I have.
I'll go like a 20, just strictly because usually when I black out, like if I blacked out and I wake up with a tattoo, I can 100% assure you I've done something worse than just the tattoo. Because when I rarely black out, but when I do, I make a fool of myself.
He just turns into like the drunken Hulk, some Bruce Banner on
I'm not a bad guy. I'm just like, I end up like I'll either spend like $1,000 and give it to like a homeless guy, or I'll be like, yeah, oh my god, did I try meth last night? Oh, neat.
Guys. Well, the answer to this one is 38.5 because points. 0.5 is to break that tie.
Somebody's.
You know what? That would be a really cool tattoo if it was a good one of Whoopi Goldberg's face. If it wasn't, then maybe I'd be a little bit more miserable.
Okay. So
I just want to just like her arms up right here, being like, "You get one!" Like right on your ass. Just every time you take a shit, it's just like, "You get it." It's great.
Okay.
Down. That's Oprah. That's not Whoopi.
That is Oprah.
I'm tired and sorry.
Whoopi Goldberg from her cameo on Star Trek would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? If it was Gillian, if it was Gillian, or I don't know, remember how to pronounce her name, but yeah, if it was her, the big old hat. I like that hat. If I could rock that hat,
great.
Yeah. It was like a big sombrero. It was a space sombrero. Is what that was.
Now? Isn't she on like The View?
She's been on The View for like a million
years. Isn't that what Whoopi does?
Yeah, that's her thing.
I feel like I haven't seen Whoopi. Like I don't watch The View. I think like the last Whoopi thing I watched was like Sister Act. She's really gone out of my life until this moment.
I think Whoopi Goldberg's space sombrero might be the thing.
Whoopi Goldberg space umbrella.
Let's do it.
Okay, next round here. Explosive ass hand every time you orgasm.
What did you just say? No, that's not on the fucking card. Go fuck yourself. No.
Explosive diarrhea every time you orgasm, but
100.
We have to drop it every time.
100.
100. No.
I'd throw my dick away. I don't need it anymore because that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Actually, I'm gonna go 99.
99?
Yeah.
Just because you can't give them up, I'd give it up.
Well,
it's not worth it.
Here's the thing. She's technically right because it's not 100. It is 83.5.
80? Who's like...
Who's okay with this? That okay with it? Like, that's 20% of okay with it.
I don't think it's a matter of being okay with it. It's just not necessarily a deal breaker because orgasming is great. If you
but you fucking shit all over... No! Pass! Done!
Yeah,
absolutely not. Just kill me.
Just like jizz in your hand while you're sitting on the toilet or something. Like.
So we got 2 for Shannon because reasons.
Wait, No. Zach got the first one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I got the Whoopi and not the upper one because I totally know the difference.
Okay, next one. Fisted by Mike Tyson. And it looks like this for those who are following along on the show.
His hands are so big. He's so strong.
No.
Like I just imagine it like being like on the picture, like a little uppercut, and you're just kind of sliding down.
He's just now fifth. Oh my god. That's so bad. These aren't usually this horrid.
I'm actually handpicking these ones.
Okay, I was about to say because these are truly challenging. Like 90 because the 10% at least I have that story. You know, I could write a book about that. Like, I'll go 90.
Okay, is this consensual or not?
I mean,
I have questions.
I imagine it would be a lot less miserable if it's actually consensual.
And is he throwing? Is it like a haymaker fisting? Like he comes in fucking hot with a Tyson throw?
I mean, think of it as the worst case scenario. So he's like haymakering your butthole, is what that is.
Yeah. So first of all, you die. Like if Mike Tyson haymakered any part of me, he could punch me in the hand and I die.
I'm gonna go 95.
Okay, we got a 95.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll survive. So I'll take the 90 for the book. Right.
I'm a very small person.
You're so tiny.
Just like
he'd punch you in half for sure.
It'd be like it'd just be gone. I'd just be split down the middle. It's fine, you know.
All right. So, Zach's gonna win this one. It's a 72.5.
It's the fuck.
She won that one.
No.
First of all, 72.5 is crazy. No, I was. Oh no, I did at 90. Just kidding.
You sure did.
99.
Yeah.
72. Who are the people making this game?
They want to get fisted up the butt.
Dude,
like.
game makers always want to get fisted. I thought that was why they got into perfection.
Going to kink shame people.
All right.
But I think some
this
people have some unrealistic expectations about their body, you know?
It's not about the kinkiness.
Okay.
It's about the pain.
So to switch things up, I have 2 cards here. I want you to pick my left hand or my right hand.
Shannon, you pick. You're behind.
Left.
Left it is.
Oh man.
Wife confesses you've been raising her ex-boyfriend's son or ex-girlfriend's son.
Oh.
There's so much context.
That was a quiet one.
I need so much context.
Like how old is this kid? Have I bonded with this kid?
Yeah.
Is the kid in college now?
It's one of those things where it's like you're pregnant. I'm pregnant. You're the father. That's like the thing. I mean, I know it's kind of more male centric.
Are you explaining how babies work to us?
Yes,
I get that.
No, you'd be like legitimately.
We're talking about like what age is the
pregnancy?
Kid?
Let's say
so when a mommy and a daddy.
Let's say like 16 when this kid is uniquely aware.
So
that
you've been with him for 16 years.
That's my son.
Yeah, that's your kid. Fuck whoever else it is. You raised that kid for 16 years. That is your kid. Now, does he suck? Because if I can write him off, if he's awful, and I'll be like, oh wait, that wasn't mine.
Is he the lead singer of Loaded Diaper from Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Is he fucking Roderick? Or is he like a
First of all, anyone named Roderick?
Is he Harry Potter? Is he Harry Potter or absolute Chad Cedric Diggory?
Cedric.
I
need so much context.
I don't know. I feel like I'd be a little bit sad and betrayed. Like I'm just gonna put myself in like if I had a penis and would have ever created a child mindset at this point, because I'd probably be like, "Oh no, babe, it's not yours." I'd probably be in that. I hope I'm never in that situation, but you know.
He's like, if I were on the other side, I'd be mad, but I'd totally con a dude.
Fucking Shannon has no shame playing the game.
Well, you know what? We're not trying to have kids whatsoever out of this body. We're trying to keep me nice and small now, everybody. I'm so tiny. Anyway, yeah, I think I'd probably be like if I were in the situation where I could create a child in someone else's body and be like, plot twist, no, you didn't. And you've been raising your son for 16 years. I'd be miserable that my significant other that I've chosen to stay with this long has lied to me. That's like the huge thing that I'd be upset
that's
about.
the problem.
Because I probably wouldn't love the kid any less because I bonded with them for fucking 16 years. Like,
honestly, when it really is more about the betrayal than it is so much as okay, that's not my kid thing. So,
and then now you're put in this position where like, well, you have this life-altering thing. I don't know if I can trust you. It's not the kid's fault at all.
Imagine how the kid would feel if you were just like, all right, peace, bro. You ain't my seed.
We're really going into the moral imperative about this thing. Let's.
I'd say 20 because I'd feel sad about my significant other and I'd try to reevaluate our relationship, but in a way that wouldn't harm the child, no matter how like old it is. You know, if it's getting ready to go to college, then maybe divorce is on the table. If not, then I'd have to stick it around to make sure that they have a stable relationship and see if we can restructure this betrayal. So 20 is what I'm saying.
Okay, we got a 20.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for like broken homes and sad shit. So like I would never hurt the kid. I would stick it out for whatever it needed. But I definitely would feel betrayed. Again, there's not enough context here. Like, oh, did she know the whole time? Yeah. Is it something that came up? Does the kid suck? Like,
okay, 10 seconds. Go.
35.
Zach, you win. It's a 69.5. Apparently, a lot of people find this as
that's 3 points away from being fisted by Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
What the fuck, guys?
Yeah, dude, humanity is garbage. This is what these cards are really about.
They just roll a D100 on these.
We're just too nice. I think we're all just too nice when it comes to these moral questions.
And where protective of our buttholes.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to do one more lightning round. You get 10 seconds to answer this one.
Oh, God.
Your mother catches you masturbating. Go. 10, 9, 7.
70.
80.
I'll win
80.
Right now,
5,
like a 50.
4. All right.
Right now, like a 50. I'm a grown man. I can do that one.
Zach takes the win. It's a 42.5.
Why? Oh, God, what's wrong with the Midwest people? Why do they want their mom to see that?
I'm telling you.
When I was like young, if I was 16, I would have had a heart attack and died.
Straight 100, yeah.
Yeah, I would have fucking died.
I think it's also like questions for dudes, because dudes are like, they expected you're like choking the chicken all the time, but we women aren't allowed to touch ourselves. Like,
yeah, but I mean, that also
inherent shame that we women are never supposed to feel pleasure ever. You know,
the ultimate point of this game is that humanity is absolutely garbage. That's
and again, like it's very different. Like my mom and my sister were super normal. Like my mom got my sister a vibrator. Like at one point, like they're close.
That's a thing.
It depends on families. Like, but I don't like. I come from a shameful family. From like my side's like it was super crazy for me. I would have shit my pants when I was a kid. I would have had an orgasm and launched an ass ham if my mom walked in when I was a kid. Yeah, they call that a callback.
Sam and I come from very Christian families, so like...
we do, well, they got better about it over the years, but when I was a teenager, they were
like Mormon.
Yeah, well, they still are. They still are. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your family, but that's just so. It's so funny that Mormonism is still a thing. When it's like they've disproved every single thing about Mormonism. Smart. Yeah, they casually keep the records of him out of the records of Mormon.
You know, it's interesting enough. There's actually, I want to side note before we move ahead about the Mormon Church. They actually have a massive vault in a mountain. It is impenetrable. It can take it's waterproof, fireproof, nuclear proof. Nobody knows what's in it. It's very like Vatican archive shit. But what they say it is, I actually believe it's genealogy records. And one thing a lot of people don't know about the Mormon religion is they're very, very into their genealogy. Like I could probably trace.
Yeah, but they also say that they have the people of Abraham came here like 6,000 years ago, and then the indigenous people of America were actually the children of Abraham, which is horse shit.
Absolute horse shit. No.
And the book of Abraham was clearly a lie, and it was based on a scroll that was an old ancient Egyptian fucking tome for how to bury people. Like it was Like it's all
Look,
lies.
we have
he read
three
the book, but 2 rocks and a hat.
We have 3 kingdoms of heaven, and if you make it to the top heaven, you basically get to play Sims, but in real life, you get to be God somewhere on some planet.
Yeah,
like that's what it is. And
it's silly.
It's very silly, and the idea that like they're locking these genealogy things away is also equally silly. I don't know what's in there.
I mean, no, that's cool. Like if they have that, but I recently dug in a deep rabbit hole about that, and like there's a lot of people who are like high in the Mormon Church who actually don't know a lot about like the fallacies and like actual like scientific fallacies of it, but they believe that there's like a genealogical presence of the children of Abraham.
Oh yeah,
in
we do
America.
we do baptisms for the dead.
And they copied the Masons Guild fucking rites of passage. And what's really funny.
And what's really weird is if you go to the temple to get married, they do these like weird like airplane hand signal things, like some ritual shit, and it's just like it's really weird. And the thing is, most Mormons have no fucking clue about the religion as a whole, and I think it's really fascinating. But we're gonna move on from this as well because we're going off on a lot of tangents tonight. No, it's all good. It's good content. The next thing we're gonna be doing is get wrecked.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't know what this is the part of the show where we give you recommendations of pop culture things that we might be watching or have watched, and we want you to watch as well because we want to talk about it with you. I think for this one, Zach, you should go up.
Sure. Have I done the Sandman Slim novels on here? Have y'all ever heard of the Sandman Slim novels? Because of you,
vaguely, like so vague.
Then I haven't talked about it.
Pretend I don't know anything because I don't.
Okay. Well, no, that's perfect. No, I'm asking if I've said it on here before.
No.
Sometimes I drink too much and I forget exactly everything I've said. I'm usually doing a million different jobs and my brain is like loose cabbage. Anyway, so Sandman Slim novels by Richard Kadrey. I'm going to move away from my normal like anime and manga recommendations. These are just like random, fun, awesome novels. If you are a fan of anything with like weird like historic or like religious mythology, like kind of realistic fantasy kind of stuff, the basic premise is like there's a guy named Stark who basically ends up, he gets sent to hell for like 11 years and becomes like a badass in hell because he can't die in hell, but he's still kind of alive. He was like punished to go there. It's 11 books, and there's a 12th final one coming out here soon. And these books get better every book, which is bonkers, but they're so funny and they're so cool because the guy is like this like 80s, like early 90s punk guy. Like he's all like leather jacket, the like Ramones t-shirts. Like he's just a punk ass dude from LA. And he's awesome. He's super badass. And he ends up coming back and it gets caught up in all of these crazy fucking things about like, they go into like old school mythology of like Judaic, like hell mythos, stuff about like the ancient old ones, like Cthulhu mythos. They go into like the nature of like all kinds of weird different religions, what's going on. But he's just this angry LA 80s punk who's going to war with like the forces of every imaginable type of hell you can imagine. And all at the same time, like dealing with normal shit in LA. And it is so fun, so cool. And it's just a really refreshing, like light, fun read. I read a lot of like really intense, dark, depressing stuff. And so these have been really amazing because I've burned through like the entire series, and they're just like a really nice, fun breath of fresh air. They're funny, they're interesting, they have great characters, they've got incredible female characters. They kind of shit on all the ancient like understandings of like what is what. One of the best characters in the whole series is Samael, which is the traditional name of like Lucifer Morningstar. Lucifer more becomes like a title, and hell isn't really like hell. Hell is much in the same way of like Orson Butler or the way Chuck Palahniuk wrote Hell. It's where hell's just kind of like a place you can go. Like it sucks. Like people die and it's an awful place, but you can go there and like get a job and like go to bars in hell and like kick it with like Azazel and have a blast. But I mean, it's awful and full of brimstone. You smoke cigarettes called maledictions, which literally kill you every time you smoke them. But because you're in hell, you just like reincorporate.
That sounds interesting.
It's a blast. The books are so much fun. And yeah, if you're into anything from like supernatural to I mean, I can't think of it. Like even like Sabrina and shit like that. Like
I love that
it is
shit.
cool and it brings in that stuff, and they're a lot of fun. Especially if you live in Los Angeles as well, it's really cool because all the locations are just Hollywood. Like half the time he's like throwing people around. He's like, yeah, I fucking threw this dude through a building on Gower. And I'm like, yeah, I know that building. I fucking partied in that building. Nice. It's pretty fun. But that's my Get Wrecked. Is The Sandman Slim novels by Richard Kadrey.
Let's see. My Get Wrecked, it's actually a show that used to be on. It's not on anymore. It was on Sci-Fi. It was actually really popular for its time, but it's kind of like lost in antiquity essentially. But I would love to like bring it back because I feel like there's like so much memeable things that you could do with it, and it's called Eureka. It's got five seasons, and it's about this like town of absolute fucking geniuses, like Elon Musk. Like everyone there is literally Elon Musk. But it's not even like about those people. It's about the cop that they hired to police the place. And it's really funny because like they do like the wrong shit all the time. Like it's very Jeff Goldblum-y Jurassic Park shit where it's like, we didn't say if we should do it, you know? Like, and basically this guy now has to clean up all these nerds messes basically. And it's kind of like hey, the sun's exploding again. And he's just like, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? You know, it's just like a regular dude among giants, like scientific giants. And it's got a lot of comedy in it. It's got a lot of like really intense moments and a lot of really fun, just stupid science things that probably shouldn't even exist. And it's a lot of fun to watch. I think I got through maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and the only reason I'm recommending it now is because it is on, I think, Amazon right now. And I saw it, I'm like, you know what? I need to finish this fucking series. So I just jumped into the pilot the other day, and it's like, wow, this is actually so much cooler than I thought it was. So if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. It's a thing. If you have seen it, give it a rewatch. It might be more interesting than it was back then.
That's rad. I'm down.
I'm down too. For my Get Wrecked, I'm going to take us to the grand old app of Webtoon. If you guys don't have it, it's a free app. You can download and read a shit ton of webcomics. They have a bunch of originals, and they have it's like also a place where you can upload your comics on their Discover feature and everything. It's called Webtoon Canvas now instead of Discover. I was one of the OG people. I call it by the wrong name. Anyway. So basically, one of my favorite web comic series is this series called Lore Olympus. You've probably seen it everywhere on TikTok, on just like Tumblr, everywhere. Everyone's freaking obsessed with this.
Katie's whole crew did you saw when we did the cosplay at Lore Olympus?
I was just like,
it was fucking rad. I did Aries and she was Menthe.
Yeah.
It was cool.
But basically, if for those of you who don't know Lore Olympus, it's a modern retelling of the love affair between Persephone and Hades. There's been a bunch of different discrepancies about whether or not Hades marrying Persephone was consensual. The original myth, yes, it was. She like walks into the underworld and he's just like, sup, and she's like, cool, I'm gonna stay here now, and eats pomegranate seeds, and then that's how she gets to stay, getting away from her crazy, obsessive, like overbearing mother Demeter. But this webcomic, when I tell you, it is the most human thing I've read in such a long time. Albeit these characters are all like primary colors and different colors. Like they're all just like monochromatic, like Persephone's pink, Hades is blue. They're humanoid, but they're like not, classic skin tones. They're just different colors to show that they're gods and whatnot. But it's just like, they show loss and trauma and everything else in such a beautiful, beautiful way. The art's amazing. The story and dialogue boxes, because the comic, amazing. Please check it out. It's one of my favorites. Do it.
And I don't read. So go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was gonna say, and on top of that, the app is like totally free. You don't have to pay for anything if you don't want to. It's and they update everything every day, all week, every week. So yeah, highly recommend it.
I 100%. I'm not big on like romance comics or books in any way, but I have read Lore Olympus through and through at least like 2 or 3 times, and I like weep like a baby. It really is some of the best writing, like even though it is like ridiculous and out there and it's all gods and them doing crazy things, it's the most human writing I've seen in a lot of mediums in a very long time. And they have the webtoons is really cool. One thing they do on webtoons that I like a lot is you can integrate sound into the comics. And one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen is I'd never read anything like that, where as you're reading something, it'll say like, turn your volume up, like go somewhere quiet and experience this. And as you scroll through the comic, like the sound matches up to each panel. And it's just this emotional down, like it hits you so hard. Lord Olympus, it really was a game changer for me when it comes to like anything like in like really the romance genre. I realized like how incredible it could be. It's beautiful.
Very cool. Yeah, no, it sounds great. Yeah. I haven't read it myself. I do read a lot of, like, literally, if you were to look at my favorites section, I have literally like hundreds of comics on Webtoon.
Yeah. It's only like 150 chapters in right now. Like it's not
only 150.
I don't even know if it's 150. I think it might be like 130.
Yeah.
And it is well worth it. It's really funny too, like wildly funny. Persephone's character is one of the most hilarious and like well-articulated characters like I've ever read in a comic book.
Right now, I'm obsessed with a really light comic called The Little Trash Maid. It's like The Little Mermaid,
Oh,
but
I love that one.
it's so dumb, but it's also so cute and like small, also slightly like get wrecked. Anyways, moving on from that, we're gonna go to The Hills We Die On to wrap up the night, because it's always so much fun. I'm gonna go ahead and start us off with Shannon. Go for it.
Oh boy. Okay, so we were talking about holiday movies earlier. You guys hate A Christmas Story, but I actually think Elf is a stupid and annoying Christmas movie, and I fucking hate it.
Yes!
Yes! I hate Elf. I don't like it. I've never liked it. Everyone's like, oh, so my mom didn't like it, and I didn't watch it until I was like in high school, and everyone's like, oh, you haven't seen Elf? Oh, you haven't seen Elf? They fucking hyped this shit up to me. I'm like 15 years old. Was one of the few outings I was allowed to go to because I had helicopter parents. I was in my jammies. I was stupid Christmas, not sleepover because everyone else was sleeping over and I couldn't, like a loser. Anyway, so we watched this fucking movie, and I'm like, everyone's laughing like I'm like, they're like, oh my god, it's so funny. I'm like, it's this is stupid. It's just like adult freaking man. It's the guy who played Mugatu in Zoolander pretending to be a freaking elf. What is going on? I hate this.
It's so dumb. I
just don't like Christmas movies in general, so maybe that's just a me thing, but I'm just like, ugh. And then like I like Zooey Deschanel in basically everything except for her role in Elf. I'm just like, I don't like her. Who is this girl? I don't like her either. And I was like, you did my Zoe dirty with this role, and I hate it. And I'm just like, God. And then just the sheer amount of candy he consumes the entire film, it made me sick to my stomach.
Very unhealthy.
I'm just like,
I don't remember, because I literally only seen it once and I was like, never again, but
I like that. I think it's funny.
Burned into my
It's one of the few Will Ferrell movies that I'm really all about.
Not only am I gonna die on this hill, I'm gonna like get a shovel and make that hill even bigger. I just
fuck no. I hate that movie.
Dude, seriously. Zach, what do you got for us?
You go ahead. I literally just had it in my brain what I was about to say, and I completely forgot what I was.
So the same thing happened, but I do have at least one in the brain bucket, and it's like,
oh, okay, I got it.
It's non-politically political, if that makes any sense. But I hate the real ID law, and I know that's kind of a weird pivot, but I should not
you can't fly without the new license coming out.
Yeah, it's
got a year.
Well, no. Here's the thing. The thing that pisses me off is not so much as that; it's the alternative. The alternative being like, oh, you need just get a passport, and I'm like, I should not need a fucking passport to travel in my goddamn country. Mm-hmm. I think that's so fucking stupid. It is the stupidest goddamn thing. Like, I am an American, okay? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm an American. God damn it! I should be able to travel.
To be on a plane.
I'm gonna do it. I fought for my fucking country twice. Like, there's no fucking reason for me to be like, oh, here's my passport, so you can see that I fucking live here. It's bullshit. I hate it. I hate it so much because it's like, it makes no sense. It's the dumbest. It's like one of the dumbest fucking laws. Dumbest app, like, because the thing is, if I were to sit there and forget this, let's say I have like a flight and I forget this thing going to like, I don't know, Colorado.
This?
What?
Did you bring that as a prop just for this?
No, I have it. I have it because I'm traveling in a month.
So it's like you just have your passport sitting there by your computer all the time?
I'm keeping it. I have a space for like important things, and I keep it in this area where I'm at. And the thing,
disregard me.
No, you're good. You're good. And the thing
I was like, you're well prepared, bro. Like you brought a prop for your secondary hill dive.
And I'm sitting here. I like every day. I look at this thing, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm an American, but I'm being treated like not an American, and I just. Like it's a dumb law. Like you should just be able to travel freely if you're here. Obviously, you're allowed to fucking go places in the goddamn country. Like,
yeah. I think the general idea is to get them just like rather than having like state IDs that are all different, just have like a nationalized system, which is like more an American thing.
They do. It's called a social security number.
I do one thing, like everything about like most of the past of America is pretty not that great, but I do miss like you see videos of people like in the 60s, dudes like roll up, like pull their car up next to a plane, like get out like smoking a cigar, walk in, like high five the captain with their whole family and be like, hey, we brought turkey dinner, do you want some, captain? And you just like walk up onto the plane. You just like throw the captain $20 and you're like, let's go to Denver.
Oh yeah, no, like the thing
I wish I could have lived in that, that moment.
Back in the day, like planes were awesome. Like I worked in aviation for 6 years when I was in the military, and we learned a lot about aviation history and things and stuff. And one of the cool things is like back in the day, like they actually like had good food and they had entertainment. Like they literally had a whole ass piano on the plane.
That's what I'm saying. Because it was like an event.
It was because it was so novel at the time. Like, what do you mean I get to fly to London? You know, people are like, holy shit, I'm 40. Like people respected the idea of being like 30,000 feet in the air.
Spitting in the face of God. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Flying a bus in the clouds, being like, damn thee, gravity.
And like the thing is, back then, like it was a big event, so you would dress up. People, you know, it was like going to a cocktail party. Now it's like you're going to fucking Walmart. You know, it's just like,
for sure.
Got your sweats, got your sneakers, you got all of your COVID gear now too. Nobody touch me.
Row.
No touchy. No touch.
Yeah, and it's just I miss. I have a feeling if we were to like recreate that as like an airline company and just be like, hey, not only do we make this shit fancy as fuck, but we made this like a new / old experience. Now I know that like Virgin and JetBlue, they kind of like do it, but I mean like in a way that's not so like pandering, if that makes any sense. Like I feel like the experience is so pandering, and it
kind of like the Pan Am Museum in New York at JFK.
Yeah, more or less. And so yeah, I don't remember. Oh, right. Hill of Diehard. Dying on the hill. I should not have to travel with this thing.
Hill of Diehard. I'm an American.
Seriously,
America, damn it.
I think that's the absolute dumbest argument for anything in the history of ever. Like, I'm an American. I thought this was. I hate it. This is the only time I'll ever use it.
That's fair. I dig it. Okay, yeah, I remember mine. I've got some vitriol here. I don't think this has been spoken of. I fucking despise the show Big Bang Theory.
Oh, fuck that show.
I hate Big Bang Theory so much because like I think Big Bang Theory had like a decent idea, but it seems like it's a show written about nerds by bros.
Yeah.
Because the concept of the show, in theory, is to be like, hey, let's make a bunch of stars of like these highly intelligent kind of weirdos, and like how do they live their life? But what it really is, it's like, let's laugh at nerds. Because like the laugh track is never in that show, like, no one says anything funny. Like no one's like, hey, that's not a bugbear, that's an orc. Like, and it's not something that would make sense to like someone who's like watching D&D. It'll just be like, oh, what are you guys doing? We're playing D&D. And everyone's like, oh, ha, 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 you're playing D&D, you fucking loser. And it's like the laugh track is so aggressively harsh towards these people, and they just like bask in it, and it just like glorifies this bully-esque mentality of being mean to nerds. And I fucking hate that shit, and I hate what it has done to none of their jokes hit for me, because all of their jokes are like lightly touching on things that are real. Like they go into quantum physics a lot, they joke about Tolkien and science and D&D stuff and things. But if you actually do any of that stuff, you're like, yeah, but you didn't say anything. Like There was no punchline. The punchline is, look at these fucking nerds. And that's not a punchline. That's just a mean bullying tactic.
Mhm.
And I can, like, fuck that. I've written like 10 times better shows than that. And unfortunately, America is this gross ass mob that likes to be mean to people. And Big Bang Theory to me is just it's a place where people can go to like make fun of nerds. And it's a mean ass thing to do. And I absolutely despise it. I think it lost track of what it wanted to be. And it was probably written by people that don't know shit about that stuff. There's probably like one guy where they're like, that tries to fact check them. And he's like, sorry, like that's not correct. And he's like, shut up, Charles. We know you're smart. We don't care. Just tell me if I can pass the joke or not. And I hate that shit.
Here's the thing. I watched all the seasons because I totally get where you're coming from. And like, I did get mad at the idea because it's like, I feel like a lot of, us specifically, we paved the way for nerds to essentially be cool, because I know when I was in high school, like I was playing Final Fantasy 7 and a bunch of, playing RuneScape and like, getting shat on for that. But then like you have this show that
like our generation is the generation that's getting laughed at by the boomers that are watching that show.
Well, because it's probably made by boomers. And
that's what I'm saying. Like it's made by a bunch of bros that don't know shit about it. And they probably just have like one guy to fact check.
Now, however, I will say on a few things though, like there are great moments in the show. Particularly, I love Sheldon's arc. Sheldon's arc is kind of amazing. The characters themselves, I think, are really interesting. I mean, the jokes are fucking awful.
I mean,
shitty.
There has to be good, but like, I'm not saying there can't be anything good about it. Like, it lasted like 1 million seasons.
It's like 12 seasons, yeah.
But like, my issue is not like there has to be good things about it. Like, I have watched plenty of episodes. I've never watched a full season in its entirety, so I guess I'm not the person to say it. But it literally like it upsets me sometimes because I feel like all the punchlines, and especially because it's orchestrated by a fucking laugh track, which is the saddest thing on television, is that the laugh track like is an enabler for cruelty, because like all the punchlines are not about the actual subject. The punchlines are just that nerdery, if you will, is happening.
Sure.
That is the punchline 90% of the time. And it's usually like Kaylee Cuoco being like, I can't believe you're doing that crazy thing.
Here's the thing.
How zany.
If Kelly Cuoco didn't exist in this world, it would have been a better show, let's be honest. But the thing is, I look at the individual main characters, and they all kind of bring something to the table. Bernadette, Amy, and the four dudes who are like the main crew. Like Sheldon specifically, like is kind of amazing because he was like season 1 this closed off, super like neurotic, almost like level Asperger's kind of person. At the end of the show, like he breaks down so many barriers, and you can't help but root for him to just kind of.
Those are my people. I'm rooting for all of them because that's what I'm saying is they are good. What the show does to them is bad. And I don't like what that show is a show written by people that made fun of nerds in high school, and now they found a way to capitalize on it because there's so many people that want to make fun of nerds. Well, and that doesn't make those nerds bad. It is sad. It's like throwing them in a rat cage and being like, dance, little nerd monkeys. And
well, okay, I'm going to say two things about this. One, young Sheldon actually does a lot to redeem that, so to say. It's a really great, surprisingly wholesome show, very different from Big Bang Theory. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's absolutely fucking amazing.
I'm going to put a hard maybe on that.
No, the first episode's going to get you hooked, I promise. But also, they do have one of the best lines I love. It was like in the first season where they're playing 3D chess and Leonard's getting his ass beat. And he's just like, how does it feel to suck on so many levels? And I'm just like, because I'm a big chess nerd, and I thought that was super funny.
Yeah. That's charming. And like, again, they are charming. Like, I don't have problems with the people. I have problems with what the concept of the show is. And part of the problem is because it's a primetime show, they know that most people wouldn't actually be able to get the actual jokes if they made punchlines that mattered. But like all the punchlines to me, like very rarely, and every time I watch the show is like, they like touch a subject, but they don't actually go into it because they're nervous that people won't know what they're talking about. Like they'll say something and they'll make a joke about thermodynamics, but it'll be like, what's the joke? Or is the joke just that someone knows that there's a second law of thermodynamics? Like you could have made an entropy joke about how like every time you go in there, you get way too big, like entropy does. And it's like, And that would be like a joke about how entropy works, but they aren't doing that. What they do is they're like, did he just say thermodynamics? What a dork. Bring that laugh track. And I hate that shit.
Anyway, I'm about maybe halfway up the hill, and I don't want to suck up any more time because
That's not your hill, it's my hill. You fucking stay at the bottom of your hill.
I'm almost at the top, mostly just because like I did kind of, I guess when the show started, I started giving more attention to like nerd culture in general. It wasn't a negative way, but I kind of think of the people in the show kind of like, you know, the treatment show. These poor nerds are there getting laughed at by everybody else watching them in their sad little lives. But I also, I despise shows with laugh tracks in general. And I hate it because I had a creepy neighbor who once I told him I was a writer, he's like, oh, like the Big Bang Theory, you see the new episode? I'm like, you know what, fuck you, dude, like leave me alone. You're like,
it's a personal cover.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't write that garbage.
That's so funny.
So I'm like almost on the top just because of this personal vendetta.
Hey man, everyone's got something different for it. Yeah, for whatever reason, like that show just gets me. I can't get into it. It upsets me in a very primal way.
Gotcha. No, and the thing is, I totally get it. And I agree with you on that. It's just, you know, it's at the end of the day, I still look at it as a very captive narrative overall. Anyway, I think it is time to wrap things up.
That's fine.
Thank you all for...
Got a big day tomorrow. I need to go to bed.
Thank you all for watching. We love having your faces. Shannon, where can we find you in the world?
You can find me at Shani Bees. That's SHANIBEEZ on the TikToks and the Twitch. I have all the rest of my socials on there. I do the streamy weemies and sometimes make stupid videos and just make fun of myself on the internet. That's what I do.
That's the way to do it. I love that you still spell it out with your finger every time.
It's because I don't want to fuck it up because I'm going to misspell it. You know, I passed college.
I passed college with letters and words.
You can't do this to me, Krabs. I went to college.
Man.
I am plankton.
Give it a million years. This is going to be Crab College. We're all going to just be pinching our way through life. That's car sensation. I am Sack.
You sure are.
You can find me on Instagram at zclap1, zklapp1. I don't do too much on there, but I am about to release a bunch of content coming up this year. I've got a show called Becoming Famous, which is being edited right now, probably show up on YouTube at some point, and a show, a bunch of Star Wars shorts called Season Deliver, that me and Slim Walk over here worked on. That's where I met him. We're finally getting some episodes edited and scored right now, so we'll hopefully have that out as well. We'll probably eventually have links in the bio for all of our shit, but for now, just look on YouTube.
You can find me at SlammySammyLock on the Instagrams. You can find me at SlammySammyLock on the Twitters. And you can find me at Steam Buddy Productions, where I make funny things sometimes on the YouTube. And you can find me at SammyLock on the TikTokies, where you can also find me doing funny stuff sometimes. And of course, you can find me right here at Chucklesluts, baby. Also, you can find Chucklesluts.
That's definitely my airplane, not my train this time. That's
also, you can find Chucklesluts pretty much anywhere on the internet at this point. Just type us into the search engine. Super easy to find. We also have our TikTok finally up and running, thanks to Miss Shannon over yonder. You can find best of highlights, clips, and all sorts of really nifty things on the TikTok that you can share with your friends, so that way they can also kind of see us doing funny, dumb things. And you can find us there at Chucklesluts. Again, thank you for watching, because without you, this isn't worth doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week.
Y'all are pretty. Bye.